Is this thing on? Oh, there you are. Hello, sweeties. How have you been? I haven't been here in a while. We should catch up sometime. All jokes aside, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Hannah Who, and welcome to my YouTube channel. As you can tell, it's Christmas time where I'm at right now, so happy Whomas to anyone who celebrates. But to get into the Whomas spirit, I want to go over all the Doctor Who Christmas specials throughout the year. I have found a ranking website that lists I think there's 17 of them now, Christmas specials plus the New Year's specials, because the Jodie Whittaker era didn't want to do Christmas specials for some reason and decided to do New Year's specials, but I'll count them in. It's a holiday special, we'll call it. Yeah, okay. But anyways, I want to do this and rank them to see where I stand on all of these 17 specials. So here we go. Okay, to start off, we're going to start back with the Christmas Invasion that took place in 2006 and go all the way up to last year's special, The Legend of Ruby Sunday. The 2024 Christmas special hasn't come out yet because it is before Christmas. So after Christmas this year, maybe I'll update this video. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we're going to start off with the Christmas Invasion. So here we go. The Christmas Invasion. It's the first ever Christmas episode, like I stated before, but I think I'm going to be a little biased with this because it is the first ever episode and we wouldn't have all the other Christmas specials without this one. Plus, it has my favorite Doctor, Mr. David Tennant. Cut the camera. Okay, so I'm gonna put it into Fantastic category right now. I might change that later, but for now, I'm just gonna keep it in Fantastic right now. It has a lot of banger moments, like this one right here.
Help me.
I love that. I quote that every Christmas. I'm like, I'm gonna get killed by a Christmas tree! Ah! This episode is actually a Dr. Light episode because he's in a coma for pretty much the whole entire episode. But he's regenerating, so he gets a pass. But then when he does wake up, he slays. Yeah. And we get this cute moment with Ten and Rose. When I was 13, like, they were my OTP. Like, I wanted a relationship like them. Sadly, it never happened. But yeah, I would put it into Fantastic category. So, moving on. Next up, we have The Runaway Bride. Where's she going? I don't know. Well, actually, we do know. She ends up in the TARDIS after the devastating episode Doomsday, where Ten and Rose get separated forever in parallel universes. Yeah, downer much. But anyways, she ends up in the TARDIS right after this dramatic scene, and it goes on there. She just wants to get back to her wedding because she's having a Christmas wedding. The Doctor tries to bring her back, but they get chased by these mechanical Santas, and there's giant spiders, and yeah, there's a lot happening in this episode. And all Donna wants is pockets in her wedding dress, which slay. Yeah, I would too.
Give me pockets!
And we do get this scene with a TARDIS car chase.
You are kidding me.
You've got to jump! I'm not jumping on a motorway! Whatever that thing is, it needs you. Or whatever it needs you for, it's not good! Now come on! I need my wedding dress! Yes, you love me! Come on!
Yeah, so I would have to put this in Fantastic as well because, like I said, it's just a nostalgic episode of Doctor Who. When you like Doctor Who and you want to watch the Christmas specials, this is one of the go-to episodes for a Christmas special, in my opinion. So yeah, I would definitely go for Fantastic. Okay, episode 3, The Voyage of the Damned. Now, this episode is centered around a space Titanic because the first Titanic ended so well. let's put it in space. Nothing could go wrong there. But anyways, this episode, it was okay. I mean, it still has David Tennant, so that's a plus. But I don't know, it's not bad, but it's not good in my opinion. So I would just put it in the good category. Because it follows like the Doctor, because he's by himself, because of the events that happened in the last season. He just wanted to be alone for a while, and he thought, oh, this would be a great place to be for some reason. I don't know. But he meets this girl, Astrid, and she becomes his companion for the episode. And they go on adventures, and then, of course, it starts to malfunction. And then there's these killer angel things going around and murdering the guest on the Titanic. And yeah, and it's interesting. It is interesting.
You there? Has anyone checked the external shielding?
Information. You are all going to die.
So I would just put it in a good category, because it has scenes like this. But then it also has scenes like this.
But, hold on. What was your name?
Like a cavalata.
Okay, Banner Cavalata, but it's Christmas Eve down there. Late night shopping, tons of people, he's like talking conker. No offence, but you'll cause a riot.
So, yeah, it's only good for me. Okay, number 4. The Next Doctor, which is very misleading because there is no new Doctor. Well, at least a real Doctor. There is this guy that he projected like this timestamp into his mind, and he thinks he is the Doctor, and it's Victorian era. And it is funny because like he thinks he is the Doctor, but when the real Doctor comes, it's like, what am I gonna do? But anyways, yeah, it's a good episode. But I think it's the most forgettable David Tennant Christmas special, because it's like, it has a lot of questionable things, like this, for instance, like this monster Cyberman thing. Like, I don't know, it's really weird. But then we also have scenes like this.
All those facts and figures I saw of the Doctor's life, you were never alone. All those bright and shining companions. But not anymore?
Nah.
Might I ask why not?
They leave? Because they should, or they find someone else. And some of them forget me. I suppose in the end. They break my heart.
Which that becomes like a quote like that people really like down the line. But other than that, it really has nothing going for it. So I think I'm just gonna have to put it in the okay section, because it's not good. I would just say that. It's really forgettable. So, sorry. Number 5, The End of Time. This is David Tennant's last episode, and this is his regeneration episode. This has a lot of meaning, and a lot happens. Like, this episode is split into 2 parts. One's a Christmas special and one's a New Year's special. And it is super long and super sad and super dramatic. It has a lot going on. But the main focus is David Tennant dying and, him regenerating into the next Doctor, Matt Smith. And it has to wrap up a lot of like storylines of the David Tennant era. It goes through all the companions that he met, and he has to say goodbye, and it's really tragic. And yeah, it has a lot going on, and it is one of my favorites. Like, when I watch something, like, I want to watch this, but it is very sad. So be prepared to cry when you watch it.
I don't want to go.
Sorry. But I would have to put this into fantastic category as well, because yeah, it's just good. I'll just leave it at that. Number 6. We regenerated into a whole new man now. Matt Smith. Okay, now this episode is called The Christmas Carol. I know, how original. So this does have the Christmas Carol like basic plot line where there's an old man and he has to like go through his like life cycle and show him his past, present, and future, and he has to change his life. But for this, they have to save the spaceship from crashing, which the companions are on, and if he doesn't, they are going to perish. So the doctor goes through his like whole entire life, and he becomes his friend all throughout, and he changes his life because he was in it. And there's flying sharks. There's this girl that he falls in love with, and that ends up changing the timeline because his father has her frozen in the basement. I'm trying not to sound weirder than it is, but I guess that is pretty weird.
Who's she?
Nobody important.
Nobody important.
Blimey, that's amazing. Do you know, in 900 years of time and space, I've never met anyone who wasn't important before.
But it makes sense in this story. Like, just trust me, bro. But in the end, like, he does save everything. I would have to put it in the good category because I wouldn't call it fantastic, but it is a good episode. So I would just put it in good. Okay, number 7, The Doctor, Widow, and the Wardrobe. Doctor Who, can we please get more original names? We're just ripping off Narnia right now. But besides the point, this episode starts off, it's a World War II centered episode where there's this lady and her 2 kids, and it is Christmas time, and they're trying to have a good Christmas, but she just got the news saying that her husband was killed in the war, but she doesn't want to tell her kids that. So the doctor shows up, and he's like trying to save their Christmas.
How do you get on?
Watch and learn, kid.
God's sake!
This hammock has developed a fault.
And like he gives them this present, which the girl opens up in the middle of the night, and it turns out to be like this parallel universe in a box where it's like all Christmassy. And she goes inside of it because, of course, it's bigger on the inside. And then the boy eventually shows up too. And then it turns out that there's like these wood creatures that are trying to run away, but they think they're trying to hurt them. But it turns out that it's actually this live forest, and they're just trying to protect themselves. And there's like these exterminators trying to burn this whole entire planet made of wood. And it's really weird. And then somehow, like, the girl gets possessed, and they, like, warp drive into space, and somehow that saves their father as well, and he flies home because he follows the light of this spaceship, and they live happily ever after. Yeah, it's weird. So I would probably put it in the okay category because there's a lot stronger episodes, and this really isn't one of them. Yeah. Okay, number 8, The Snowman. Oh, we're getting better at names now. Okay. But I really enjoy this episode. It takes place in Victorian London, and it introduces us to one of my favorite companions, Clara Oswin Oswald. Well, she's technically not a companion, but a version of her is a companion. But we don't have time to get into that right now. But in the episode, the Doctor is moping around because he just lost his previous companions, Amy and Rory. And he doesn't really want to be bothered with anyone. But this Clara chick keeps trying to bother him. She wants to, like, get to know him. And, like, because, like, there's some weird stuff happening. And he seems to know what's happening. And we get this scene where she follows him into the clouds. I really love this scene. And we just get, I love Clara, especially this, because look at her, for one. But yeah. But yeah, I just really love this episode. And we get introduced to Strax, Jenny, and Vastra, which they are a returning character throughout the seasons after this.
Lizard woman from the dawn of time. And this is my wife.
This dwelling is under attack. Remain calm, human scum.
And yeah, it's just a really good episode. I would put this episode in the fantastic category because I really like it. Number 9, Time of the Doctor. We're back around to a regeneration episode. Did I mention Christmas episodes seem to be a regeneration episode? So yeah. This is a really interesting episode because, like, he goes on and he's moping around because he knows he ends up on the planet of Trenzalore and that's where he's gonna die. And he doesn't want that to happen, but he can't fight fate. So he actually goes to Trenzalore willingly, and there's a town called Christmas on this planet, and he vows to protect it with his life, and he stays there for, I forget how long, but he stays there a long time where generations go past, and he's like a legend, and he gets older. So eventually Clara goes to and finds him because he ran away and like locked her into present day, but eventually she gets to him, and at this point he's super old, and she like begs the Time Lords to give him more life because she knows this isn't the end for him. He has more into him, and plus we need more seasons. But yeah, I would put this in the good category because it isn't one of my favorites, but it's pretty good. It's a regeneration episode, so it has to be pretty good. And now we are moving on to Peter Capaldi. Episode 10. Last Christmas, he gave you my heart. Okay, yeah, I'm never doing that again. But this episode is called Last Christmas. If you ever watched the movie Alien, yeah, it's Alien, but it's Christmas themed, and the actual Santa's in here. That's an interesting choice for Doctor Who, because previously we were told that Santa wasn't real, and the Doctor actually was Santa, so it's a little confusing at the beginning. But then throughout the episode, we find out that it's these like mind parasites that latch onto your face like the movie Alien, and it puts you in like this dream state, and you have to like fight through all these like dreams, and it's like a dream inside a dream. You know how they go. And it turns out that like Clara has one of these dream things on her face, and she's living out with her boyfriend Danny, which I hate with a passion, but we're not getting into that now. I hate you, Danny. But anyways, she's like living this life with this parasite on her head, and the Doctor has to break in and tell her that it's not real. And like she keeps fighting and fighting, and then eventually she gets really old and she's like about to die. And the Doctor comes back and says like, you need to leave, but I'm not gonna force you. And then eventually, like, she realizes that she wants to travel with the Doctor, and this is just all one big fantasy that she knows that can never happen. So she goes with the Doctor, and it turns out that once he gets this thing off her face, she's young again, and they get to travel again. So yeah.
You really should be waking up too, Clara.
Just a little longer.
Why?
Every Christmas is last Christmas.
I would give this episode a good rating. Like I said, it's not up there with like the Christmas Invasion or anything like that. But it is pretty good, so I would give it a good. Yeah. Number 11, The Husbands of River Song. Now, if you know me, you know I love River Song. She's a baddie. She is a girl boss. She's the most girl bossy of this show, I would argue. Because look at her. Now, previously to this episode, we haven't seen her in a few seasons, and we wasn't sure if we would ever see her again. And apparently River wasn't sure either, because she's out on her shenanigans by herself, what she gets up to without the Doctor. The Doctor is her husband, by the way, if you don't watch the show. But yeah, and they have like a really weird open relationship, I would just say.
Stop it, you're a man, it looks weird.
I need more information.
For what?
For my diagnosis.
He's dying, we're about to steal his head and scoop out his brains. Aren't we overthinking?
I'll be the judge of that. I'm the Doctor.
You know who you remind me of?
Yes, probably a chap with a big...
My second wife.
But yeah, it's like this really funny moment because the Doctor knows River, but River doesn't know the Doctor because he regenerated, and she doesn't have this regeneration yet in her like catalog of like these long lists of doctors. So pretty much the whole episode is just the Doctor like flabbergasted of River's life when he's not there. And it is hilarious because we get scenes like this where he walks into the TARDIS.
God! Oh, is it bigger?
Oh, yes.
On the inside.
We need to concentrate.
There it is.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this, but I need you to calm down.
On the outside?
Oh, you certainly grasped the essentials.
My entire understanding of physical space has been transformed! Three-dimensional Euclidean geometry has been torn up, furled air, and snubbed to death. My grasp of the universal constants of physical reality has been changed. Forever. Sorry. I've always wanted to see that done properly.
Would you like a drink? Aldebrand brandy. Help yourself. Don't tell Dad.
And she has wine too. And then we get this like dramatic pause where it's like they're about to get killed, and like he's like trying to tell her that I'm the Doctor, but she isn't believing him. And then like suddenly she realizes that it is him, and it's very heartwarming.
Impossible. This is a trick.
No, it isn't.
My information is correct. You are the woman who loves the Doctor.
Yes, I am. I've never denied it. But whoever said he loved me back? He's the Doctor. He doesn't go around falling in love with people. And if you think he's anything that small or that ordinary, then you haven't the first idea of what you're dealing with.
Your Majesty, I assure you, she is the perfect bait. When this woman is in danger, the Doctor will always come.
Oh, you are a moron. No, he won't.
He's probably already here.
No, he isn't. Of course he isn't.
Possibly on this ship.
Well, go on. Scan it then. Go on, why don't you?
River.
2 hearts, stupid clothes. You can't miss him.
River.
Go on, scan the whole parsec. He's not here. God knows where he is right now, but I promise you, he's doing whatever the hell he wants and not giving a damn about me. And I'm just fine with that. When you love the Doctor, it's like loving the stars themselves. You don't expect a sunset to admire you back. And if I happen to find myself in danger, let me tell you, the Doctor is not stupid enough or sentimental enough, and he is certainly not in love enough to find himself standing in it with me.
Hello, sweetie.
You are so doing those roots.
This is the last time we sadly see River. So I would put this episode in the fantastic category because like I said, this episode has a lot in it. Plus it has River, and it's a really good episode. So yeah, I would put it in the fantastic category. Number 12. Now this is a total opposite of the last episode. This is called The Return of Dr. Mysterio. Now, this was Doctor Who's jab at this whole superhero craze back in 2018. Now, I would say I was in that superhero craze with, like, Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, and stuff like that. So, it did appeal to me at the time, but looking back, this was a really bad episode.
Lap. Face me.
Maybe not.
Face me now. What is that?
It's not me.
It sounds like
Like someone knocking at a window.
we're on the 100th floor. vigilante, but he's
What?
super.
Mind if I come in?
Impressive. Those windows, like everything in this building, are built to withstand a blast equivalent to 4 nuclear explosions.
Sorry about that. Would you like me to call a glazier?
Because superheroes don't belong in Doctor Who. I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't work. And it barely felt like a Christmas special. Like, I get it had to be a Christmas special because this would not happen in the real season. And it's bad. I would just say it. It's bad.
You okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
Episode 13, to recover from whatever that previous thing was, is called Twice Upon a Time. Now, in this episode, there's not one doctor, but there are 2 doctors. The 12th Doctor and the goat himself, the first Doctor. Now, how did they do that? Well, they found a guy that looked exactly like William Hartnell, and yeah, magic. But anyways, this is his regeneration episode where he's going to regenerate into the 13th Doctor. But this is a really interesting episode because we see 2 doctors interacting with each other. And the first Doctor has no idea what the Doctor even is at this point because I don't think he even left Gallifrey at this point. So he's just a baby compared to the other Doctor. So we know that the Doctor is dying because of the previous episode. He got shot by a lot of like the Cybermen's, and yeah, it was really bad.
I'm not a doctor. I am the Doctor. The original, you might say. Oh!
So all throughout this episode, he knows he's regenerating, but he's just trying to push it off. And there is this like B plot where it is like it's World War II again. Doctor Who likes World War II. I don't know. But they freeze time because there's these glass aliens that like to observe human tragedy and stuff like that, and like important moments in human history. And it's really trippy, and it is a really good episode. I would have to rank it as okay though, because as far as like regeneration episodes, I don't think it is a really strong episode. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's just my personal opinion. If you don't agree with that, go ahead. Okay, so now we are moving on to the 13th Doctor. Now, with the 13th Doctor, for whatever reason, they didn't want to do Christmas specials, but they decided to do New Year's specials. Yeah, I don't know why. Don't ask me. But anyways, we start off with the resolution of the Daleks. Now, this episode, don't get me wrong, I love the 13th Doctor. I actually met Jodie Whittaker. But this episode, it's bad. Like, for Jodie Whittaker's first New Year's special, it is very forgettable. Like, I can't even tell you what happens, like, at the top of my head. All I know is that there's a Dalek in a cave or something. Like I said, I really can't tell you. It's really not that memorable. So I think I'm sadly gonna have to put this in the bad category. But it had to be done. Now this one is a complete turnaround from the last one, but it is called The Revolution of the Daleks, not Resolution, the Revolution. How different. But anyways, this episode is actually pretty good. Plus, it has this guy right here, Captain Jack Harkness. He is one of my favorite companions for David Tennant's era. And we haven't seen him since then, so I was ecstatic when he came back to Doctor Who, and he was amazing. Like, he held this episode up so much. Like, he held this whole episode, and this episode was amazing because he was in it.
Hi! Have you had work done?
You can talk. Now shut up and run.
And sadly, this was his last episode of Doctor Who. For reasons I'm not going to get into, but it is very sad that he will never be back to Doctor Who. This is a really good episode, which is why I'm putting it in the good category. We do get this really good scene. Yaz, the new companion, talks to Jack, because Yaz has a little bit of a crush on the Doctor, and she tells Jack about this, and Jack gives her a pep talk saying, like, enjoy the Doctor while they're still in your life, because once it's over, there's no going back.
Cruel. To be shown something I couldn't have anymore. Felt like I'd rather not have known. I'd rather not have met her, because having met her and then being without her, that's worse. How'd you deal with that?
How many people in the universe get to meet the Doctor? Let alone travel with her? We're the lucky one, Chaz.
And yeah, I think this resonates with a lot of companions, but especially Yaz right now, because she does have a crush on the Doctor, which doesn't go nowhere, but that's beside the point. Now this episode, it is pretty good. I think I'm gonna put it in the okay category, because it is good, but it's not great. In this, like, there's really not a lot of, like, going on between this Christmas special and the last special. And Yaz still has the crush on the Doctor, and she hasn't told her yet. And this episode, if you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day, it's Groundhog Day, but with Daleks, and it's just Yaz trying to tell her feelings to the Doctor, but every time, like, it gets restarted and she has to start over again, and yada yada yada.
Have you ever told her?
Told her what?
How you feel about her?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you do.
Is it that obvious?
Well, maybe not to a good-hearted weirdo. I spent 4 years travelling the world with you. I saw it then. You didn't half came looking at that hologram.
I didn't. I mean, it was just that she just... I don't know what to do, Dan. I've never told anyone. Not even myself.
Just tell her.
But at the end, they do, defeat the Dalek, and Yaz actually does tell the Doctor how she feels, and they longingly stare at each other. So I guess that's confirmation that the Doctor likes her back too, but the Doctor can never be in a happy relationship, and she just doesn't want to hurt Yaz's feelings. So yeah, I would just put it in the okay category. And we are done for 13 now. And we have finally made it to the end. One more to go. We are at the Church on Ruby Road, which we are back to Christmas specials, baby. This was last year's episode, and it is really good. Russell T Davies came back, which he's the one who wrote all of David Tennant's eras, so it is really good, and he rebooted the whole entire show for Disney, so this was like a whole rebrand of the show, and it worked out fantastic in my opinion. We meet our new Doctor plus our new companion, and we get to see like everything like new for the first time, and it works out pretty good. And plus we have this great song right here.
baby, we can feast. We can die in 3 days at least. Baby blood and baby bones. Baby butter for the baby's scones. Little baby feet, little baby toes. Amazing.
No, it's not. What do we do?
Babies have such very bad luck. Now into baby, we will duck. Eat the baby, add some salt. Baby's honey powdered malt. No baby salted, she's a treat. Her destiny is time to meet. Baby, we need. Baby, we feed. Eat with our teeth. Better than beef.
Which I was obsessed with last year. And yeah, it's just a really good like jumping on point for new fans, I would assume, because it explains everything to you. Like if you had never watched a show before, this would give you like a general idea of what it is, because there's really no like dragging on like scenarios here. Like if you watch it as a one-off, you'll be fine. But then if you want to watch more, go right ahead, and then you'll understand it even more. So I would have to put this episode at the fantastic rank, because like I said, it is a breath of fresh air after those New Year's specials, and I think it's just a really good like point to start Doctor Who if you never seen the show before, and you don't want to start all the way back, which you are going to have to do that anyways, but just to test your feet into the water, I would maybe watch this episode and see if you like it, because it's a pretty good episode. So yeah, I would put it as fantastic. Okay, we made it to the end. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I make more videos soon, but I'm not making no promises like I did last year. But I will try. If you do like this kind of content, let me know. I'll try something new. I would really like to do like reviews on Doctor Who episodes. So if you want to see like a certain like episode of Doctor Who of me reviewing, leave it in the comments below. And I'll see what I can do. My plan was to like do every single episode of Doctor Who, but that is a lot to bite off. And maybe if I like focus on 1 or 2 episodes, I will be good with that. Or maybe focus on like seasons and season chunks instead of that. But I really don't have a plan yet. But yeah, if you would like to see that, comment it below and we'll see what we can do. But thank you for watching. And if you like this kind of content, or you just like me, hit that subscribe button down there. Okay, allons-y. Bye bye.